Welcome to Forecaster Terminal. Thanks to this software you can analyze every financial instrument across the globe, and you will be able to find the best investment and trading opportunities in seconds. Thanks to the Forecaster you'll save a lot of time and stack the odd in your favor. This is the home page of the Forecaster Terminal. As you can see, it's very simple. It works like Google, very simple interface. Let's go, for example, on Apple stock. Here we have the overview page where we can see the performance of the stock for many different time frames. Plotted directly on the chart, you can see the dividends, the price earning, the net income and sales. In particular, sales and net income are very interesting because watching the entire history, for example, of Apple, we can see that the stock prices goes where the fundamental of the company are. Scrolling down the page, we can see all the performance of the stock divided by years. Again, all the dividend paid by the company. And something really interesting, we have the insider transaction. Here you can find if one of the manager of the company is buying or selling stocks. Here, for example, we can see the date when Tim Cook sold some shares on the market. For every stocks, you can find also the fundamental page where you can find the fair value, the average fair value calculated thanks to 3 different calculation methods. In every moment you know if a company is over or undervalued on the market. Scrolling down the page, we can find the solidity section where we find the Altman Z-score, the Piotrowski score and the Benisham score. All these ratios are explained inside the software, as you can see. And just below the solidity you can find the value generation area where you will find the number of shares outstanding, the shareholder yield for the company and many other ratios in order to understand if the company is becoming more efficient year after year. As I told you at the beginning, Forecaster works like Google, so here on the top of the page you can find many things. For example, you have the ranking section. Here you have the most important index from all around the globe. Let's have a look to the S&P 500. Do we have the single fair value for every component of the index? We are able to calculate the over or the undervaluation of the entire index. We can do this calculation, of course, for all the entire index, but we can do it for the top 10, for example, and also for every single sector of the index. For example, at the moment, the healthcare sector of the S&P 500 is undervalued by 2.84%. Let's go back to all stocks, where you can sort all the component of the index by market cap, of course, by fair value and by all the other scores we have in the Forecaster. If you click here, best to worst button, you can find in seconds the components of the S&P 500 starting from the best company to the worst. A very nice tool if you are looking to opportunities on a specific index or a specific sector. For example, let's go to consumer cyclical, where if we click on this button we can find the best stocks for this specific sector. For all the instruments you can find in Forecaster, you can find also the seasonality page. You can add 10 years, 20 years, for example, of seasonality data. You can have a look to the chart and you can understand if in a specific period of time on a specific instrument, in this case we are on the S&P 500, we have a specific trend. If you highlight a specific period on the chart and you scroll down the page, you can find the daily average, weekly average, monthly statistics, and of course you can find the statistics statistics regarding these specific dates. So for example, in the last 5 years, 80% of time we had a positive return with an average return of 10.2%. 80% of the last 10 years the market went up with an average return of 7.2. 60% of time in the last 20 years we had positive performance in these specific dates with an average return of 6.7%. Below you can find all the single years with all the datas, and of course if you switch to short trade you can find the statistics also for an hypothetical short trade. This is something really cool that of course works even with stocks. If we go back to Apple, we can find also for Apple the seasonality, and of course you can go back more than 20 years and you can see the trends of seasonality on the chart, and if you highlight a specific period you have all the statistics for the stock. Let's go back here in the top of the page where I can find the COT reports. If you don't know what COT report is, very simple, it's the commitment of traders. It's a report published every week by the Commodity Future and Trading Commission, where you can find the long and short position of different trading categories. For example, we have the asset manager, institutional, leveraged fund, and dealer intermediary. Of course, on the CFTC Commission website, it's difficult to understand. We take all this data and we plot it on a chart for every CME future available. For example, here you can see the net position of managed money. If you don't know what managed money is, you can just click on the info button and you have all the details. You can plot on the chart only the long position, only the short position. You can go, for example, and watching producer, merchant, processor, commercial, non-commercial, swap dealers. You have all the categories that are trading, for example, on the gold future at the moment. Thanks to the Forecaster terminal, you can have this information and you can understand how the big guys in Wall Street are positioned on a specific future contract on all these future contracts. Let's go, for example, on cocoa, where we can see the commercial position, non-commercial, producer, swap dealer, managed money. And if we go here to the overbought and oversold section, we can analyze prices on a statistical point of view. Thanks to the Wyckoff indicator and the speed indicator, we can go on the chart and searching for a long and short opportunity by finding divergency between the indicators and the prices. So for example, talking about the cocoa, we can see that the last top were created with a Wyckoff indicator which was falling down, and also the speed of prices started to fall, and exactly on this top we had a divergence between the indicator and prices, something that tells us we have a short opportunity. If you have any question about the forecaster, we are at your disposal. You can reach us by email or by the chat you can find on Forecaster.biz website.